All right, we got game 2 here. Eric and I on the near end, far end. We got Benny and Christian looking to capitalize and take game 2 here. Okay, block. Nice. A couple blocks there. Like I was mentioning earlier, definitely this ball is very forgiving, so much easier to block with this ball than most. But I thought that was a pretty good defensive, kind of look at not being rushed in transition. So on this initial third, I get pulled out of position here. I don't trust that I can hit a linear, hybrid type third. So I'm going to purposely kind of loft this first one up and then kind of bank on cleaning up our mess with a 5th and a 7th. So pop this up, get it to bounce, block again. Why I block again is because I don't trust that my swing is going to be pressurizing enough against Ben as I'm in the land of opportunity. If I was up and established here and I saw that speed up coming, I can be swinging there. But since my positioning is back and we're playing with a forgiving ball that is pretty soft at this moment, it just made sense to surrender, block, and get myself up and established. So block once more. Now we're up and established. Punch here and punch because I was up and established and I had my positioning. Okay, beautiful little poke there by Eric. Eric takes it late, throws it up Christian's forehand side. How he was able to hit that, take a look at the paddle face. Paddle face is at 6. He pushes up, pushes through it, and it is able to kind of find a good location on Christian's right hip. Okay, so we actually start out game 2 rolling here. So Christian takes this backhand counter at me. I am ready. But something that I need to be doing is that when I see that Christian's looking to speed up cross court, I should be looking to kind of lean more middle. And why? Because Christian's really not being aggressive with his dinking and pulling me out of position. So if he's not pulling me out of position, if I don't really need to cover that spot because I have time to get there, I can really look to kind of over lean on the middle and do a much better job of just being ready for a counter punch in the middle versus an aggressive dink going cross court. Okay, so we're at 2-0 here, 2-0-2. Got off to a nice little start. Drop, come in. Okay, so Christian dinked middle there. There was a little confusion. Ball got popped up. We were able to at least get it to bounce. Christian takes an off the bounce speed up, and this is definitely a bailout. This speed up was going long. Off the bounce and puts a hole through Eric. So I've mentioned this a couple times that most of Christian's speed ups are all going long, but Eric and I have not left one speed up, and so know that you will never know until you let a couple go. But as you see later in game 2 here, Eric and I actually do start leaving some speed ups. Kind of back to the same scenario here. Christian's having a hard time dropping and coming in. He was looking to swing in transition there. He's really not coming up in a manner that allows him to get up and establish, just because he's not getting his third down. Also, too, as you see, I had mentioned this last game. If you're having a hard time getting your drop down with adding spin, you can go to more of like a guide and steer, or more of like a lifting drop without spin. And as you also see, Christian likes to kind of walk through his third. He's obviously not getting his third down. So if you're having a hard time getting your third down, I would definitely not encourage you to walk or to run through your third. Know that your soft game is only as good as how still your lower extremities are. So as you're dropping, make sure you're balanced, organized, you're using your shock absorbers. The easiest way to drop is let the ball come to you, let the ball reach its highest point, and guide and steer your drop with your feet being still, and look to address and assess after you drop, versus adding spin and walking through it. Okay, deep serve, deep return, drive, drop. Christian's doing a much better job now keeping his dinks down. Okay, Ben speeds up at me. I end up countering. They end up with it there. That's one of the few times in this match that Ben speeds off the bounce. He recognizes that Christian's really not doing a lot from a dinking standpoint, so I think Ben's thinking that he's got to kind of overcompensate here and look to bring some more offense off the bounce. Okay, nice little speed up there by Christian. Okay, ball's back in our favor, 2-2 here. Two. That was my fault for missing a dink there. I got pulled out of position there. I should probably just keep that dink in front of me and not try to go back cross court. I try to go back cross court with it. Okay. So I like Eric being aggressive in transition there. Looks like he drops. He's walking through his drop. Just got a little overextended on that poach. Looked like he was a little half committed. Know that if you're going to commit or if you're going to look to shake and bake, or I guess bake off your own shake and poach off your own drop, make sure you stay in front of it and fully commit, or just get your chest kind of centered right in front of that ball. Okay, this is a full bailout here, and this is an example of Christian and I, this is an example of Eric actually getting out of the way on a speed up. Okay, deep serve, keep the return on Christian. Christian's dropping. Christian gets a lift and tries to murder Eric off the bounce. Eric finally got out of the way there. Okay, 2-2-2. Back playing defense. Keep him back. Keep our positional advantage here. No way. Not gonna lie, Eric was celebrating on that ball as the ball hit the tape and rolled over. Good example there, though. If you just play good defense, keep balls in play, you never know what's gonna happen. So just the idea of making balls, playing high percentage, understanding your shot selection when you're on defense, allowed Ben and Christian to win that point. Guys are trying to earn you here. Throw a lob up. That lob was not hit all that well. Something I like to say is that if you're looking to be aggressive, you should have your sly. I really did not have my sly there. I was being pulled out of position. I was somewhat stable, and the ball was in yellow. I think just with the idea that it's 1 versus 2, and my body position was moving laterally. If your feet are not still, or if you don't have time to speed up, you probably shouldn't speed up. So I obviously didn't, or I guess I wasn't able to check all 3 boxes with stable location in yellow. So I should not look to be aggressive there. It's kind of more of like a bailout. We were in control there. I just had a ball that hit off the tape. So Benny drops middle. I hit an aggressive fourth, pull Christian out. Now we're back dinking cross. Christian speeds off the bounce. I have a little sitter, ends up hitting the tape. All right, so we are down 2-5 here, looking to rally back. We just need 1 stop. All right, that serve goes long. Now we're at 2-5 here. Drive drop combo. Okay, look at that. Eric has gotten out of the way 2 times now. And Christian just continues to fire at a very high pace. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But there definitely is a new speed up in pro pickleball. All right, so this is definitely one of the better points in the match. So anytime that I was dinking with Christian, I would kind of use a mixture of dinking with topspin on my forehand side. Backhand side was kind of more guiding and steering. Sometimes I would add slice. That's a pretty good point. Great point there. Transition from defense to offense. We had kind of everything in that point. Hand battle, dinking, blocking. Eric tries to speed up here. Christian's ready. So Eric tries to speed up towards Christian's forehand there. As you see, Christian pops his ball up, sees that, takes a little step back. Sometimes from a counter perspective, you know, if you maybe if you have bigger swings, or if you don't trust your hands at the line, if you pop a ball up, sometimes just that little added step back allows you to see the ball a little bigger, gives you some more time, and especially if you have a bigger swing, helps you just kind of get down on the ball. All right, 3-5 here, drive, drop. Now we're up and established. I end up missing that drop just wide. Okay, 3-5. Nice to get over the hump and just get off a 2 there. Anytime that we have the ball and our opponents get a side out, you know, if we're down in a game, as long as we are, you know, kind of heading down the right path, or if we got one, we're always happy to at least just get one. 5-3-2. Looking to push him back, thinking feet over heat. Same thing, keep it at his feet. Make sure any ball that Benny is hitting is a ball off the bounce. Give that man nothing out of the air. Let's go, baby. There we go. All right, so dinking battle here. Hand battle. I end up sliding over. Eric gets pulled out of position. And something I need to do more is just keep my forehand available, because sometimes I get a little too I get over covering the backhand side. As I do here though, I go from backhand to forehand. So something I've been working on is not being so heavy with my backhand ready position, but more so just kind of being more neutral with it. That way the forehand stays open. Also, too, if you take a look at just my overall swing path there, everything's inside of peripheral. I'm making sure never to take the paddle back behind me. And if you're 14 feet away, it seems like the teams that have a shorter take back, that are redirecting pace more and not generating pace, usually end up on top. Anytime you're 14 feet away, it's not about the pace that you hit. It's about the direction, and it's trying to get that ball down, and do that with a take back that is short and tight, that is inside of peripheral, and it never gets outside of your vision. All right, 3-5, big point there. We are definitely using that last point as a momentum point. We're trying to work it in our favor. Even though we were unsuccessful on that first serve, we're looking at getting one here. So we got 3-5-2. Okay, end up getting a loose air there from Ben. Doesn't always happen, but we'll gladly take it. All right, drop, come in, drop. Now we're up and established. Oh. Okay. So drop the first one. I'm taking my time coming up. I'm making sure that as Christian makes contact, I'm breaking down, playing safe. Anytime I'm taking a half volley, I'm making sure that I'm not adding spin as well. Ben speeds up at me. Ben speeds up at me. When he speeds up at me, I need to, I've kind of noticed I need to do a better job of just getting my positioning of my paddle down. As you see on this first speed up, Looks like the paddle face is kind of open. I'm not fully getting my knuckles down. Eric does a great job here of kind of getting us out of trouble. Hand battle, that did not go our way. A lot of that comes from me not getting that first one down, though. If I'm able to get that first one down, now we're in control. Now they're having to lift up. Main thing from a counter perspective when somebody comes at you is just getting that initial counter down. Okay, Christian decides to speed up middle there. Eric was more than ready for it. There's their fifth. Eric sneaks, or Christian sneaks in, tries to speed middle. Eric is all over it. Take a look at what good counters do. So Eric recognizes that Christian is speeding up here. Eric is one step away from it, but he's more so looking to kind of keep his chest in front of the ball there. As you see, he slides over. But good counterattackers always keep the ball in front of them, and they make sure that when they're in ready, that their ready position is nice and neutral, and they're ready for either a backhand or a forehand counter. Okay, looking to get back on the board here. Not gonna lie, game 2 was a game of inches. It was tough for Eric and I to get more than 2 points in a row. So we were kind of just chipping away at getting a point at a time, and we were able to get nothing out of this serving turn. Okay, that was kind of a reoccurring pattern. We would put the return on Christian's inside foot, kind of make him fight over that stuff. If you take a look at the pro level, there's a lot of balls being hit on that righty's inside foot, whether it's a return, it's a drop or a dink. But no, that is a very good spot if you can keep it on that righty's inside foot. Causes a little confusion. Makes it uncomfortable for the righty because they probably don't want to be taking a backhand there. Also, too, as you saw on those last 2 returns, we ended up getting a quick side out. But also what led to that quick side out was just general depth on the return. If you can get depth, if you can push the servers back as they're hitting their third, or just make that third tougher as they're either out of position or just off balance, it's going to make it tougher for them to get up and established and just hit that initial third. Okay, time for us to gather some points here. We got 4-5, and we've been stuck at 4-5 for a while here. Okay, Christian speeds at me cross court. Same thing. I need to get this counter down. Okay, speed. I was on it, but if you have the best player in the world in front of you, sometimes hitting a counter through them isn't the answer. Usually the answer is if you can get it down. I would say there's a handful of players that counter would have worked against, but if you're playing, top 10, top 5 in the world, that counter needs to be a bit more precise and needs to be located down at their feet. Always think feet over heat. Okay, and something I should be doing here as well is that Eric's being pulled out of position. If Eric is being pulled out of position, I should really stay back with him. Eric is outside the court right now. I am inside the court. Even though Eric is a total stud and he's playing at a high level and he's top 10 in the world, I should never trust every drop that he hits. And so as you see here, I'm being loyal to the fact that I think that he's going to get his third down, and I'm kind of inching in. But the return pushed him back, and so if the return pushes him back, I should be back with him. Make sure, viewers here, make sure that you are always staying connected with your partner if the return gets pushed back. And if there's something that I remind pro players a lot, it's that simple principle. It's whether, I tell them, if I'm being pushed back as I'm hitting a third, you should stay with me, or vice versa. If you're being pushed back, I should stay with you as well, and we should take more time coming in. Not gonna lie, this match, I'm pretty sure lasted about 2 hours. As you see, I'm a sweaty mess in the corner. I'm actually changing my socks right now. And don't worry, there's a couple more. Okay, 4-5 here. ATP. Okay. All right, so they're kind of back to their usual. they're not getting their first down, and they're back kind of having to hit a third, fifth, and a seventh. A drop comes at me. I get a little overextended. This tends to happen a little bit. I get a little overextended, and I see Ben creeping in. I obviously don't want to go back at Christian, or I guess I don't want to go like directly back at Christian. It would make more sense to go with angle because Ben is in front of me. But with Ben in front of me, it's putting pressure on me, and so I try to go overly wide here. As I go overly wide, Christian sees the ATP, hits this very well. So with Christian dropping there, I probably should just surrender and turn that fourth or turn that sixth ball into a dink. Okay, so it looked like Christian was going to speed up there. He did a very good job of not speeding up. As you see, both Eric and I were kind of off the line. I was off the line here. I ended up blocking. Eric's off the line. I think Christian doesn't quite know what he was looking to do with that ball. Christian ends up popping it up. Eric takes it as a backhand roll volley. Ends up speeding it into him. But I think this is an example of, even though we are off the line and this point looks a little goofy, sometimes just playing safe and playing high percentage and, not overcompensating, if you don't really know what's in front of you, can win points even at the highest level. And if it can win points at the highest level, it can definitely win points at all levels. Okay, drive drop combo. Looking to dink in that pressurized zone. Oh, I had just missed that speed up long. That was the second time that I've gone at Ben. Exciting news. We had just rolled out with our 2026 signature PB camp schedule. It's listed on the website right now, so be sure to get over there and get yourself signed up for a camp come 2026. I personally love coaching. That was my first passion in life. I started coaching at the age of 15. I grew up in a coaching family. And if there's a couple things that I love about coaching, it's meeting new people, the whole family-driven community behind it, and I would say some of the better relationships that I have in pickleball is all through campers that have taken my camp. Be sure to sign up for a camp. We've been running camps since 2020, doing it very well, and I guarantee when you come to a Tyson McGuffin camp, you'll have the best experience. Okay. So I was in a much better position there to lob. Why? Because I hit a pressurized dink. Off of that pressurized dink, Christian gave me a lift. There's that lift. I have plenty of time. Okay. And I throw it over Christian's left shoulder. He ends up missing the overhead wide. Side out there. So much better use of the lob there because it came off a pressurized dink. For viewers out there, there's my pressurized dink. I have a little lift. Pressurized usually is a little deeper in the kitchen. It has some more intent behind it. A lift dink is a ball that has some height on it. Okay. I can't tell you how many times I lost this point. Christian is hitting a speed up that's not going in. Cross court. I continue to take the bait and miss a handful of counters. If I could run this match all over again, I would let all that stuff go. Okay, we are really stuck at 4 here. A handful of the points that we had as we're serving, as we're stuck at 4, we weren't even able to get established, and there's nothing more frustrating than to not even kind of get a scope or to get an idea on how points are going from the kitchen line because we can't even get up. Okay. One thing that's for sure is that anytime Christian and I are dinking cross court, I'm in control and he's having to hit more lift dinks. And that has been winning the cross court pattern time and time again, all match long. Okay. Christian won the dinking battle there, which led to a lift. Okay, there's my lift. And that lift came from Ben's aggressive dink that pulled me out of position. As you see here, or sorry, doesn't pull me out of position, but just puts it in a zone that's a little uncomfortable, which is more red. Off of that red zone dink, I ended up taking it out of the air, kind of hit more of a lift, and that gave Christian some time in a lifting to be picking his poison off the bounce. All right, so we are stuck at 4-8. Okay, we definitely needed that. Christian gave us a missed drop. See if we can make a run here. Get some points on the board. 4-8. Okay. So Christian is being pretty successful here, just kind of blindly speeding up, picking different locations, but he's been mainly aggressive off the bounce. As you see there, Eric's having a hard time reading it. There we go. There's one. So here's a look at me finally getting a counter down where it should be. Okay, got it down at Ben's feet, and you know, take a look there. Like this counter, it's kind of tough to see from here, but this counter didn't have as much on it as my previous counters, but it found a better location. So Ben kind of found my right hip. I slid to my dominant side, got the counter down, was making sure that my knuckles were facing at his feet. And then I came back for a recounter. Ben looks to leave this one. I find a good location on his right hip. Ball ends up hitting the back line. Great job by myself there, starting and cleaning, or I guess countering, staying with it, and then looking for an opportunity to reestablish and look to get back on the offense. Okay, 5-8. Beautiful drop. Okay, so me leaning off to the side here, not gonna lie, this whole look, or this whole like positioning from me has all stemmed from Christian speeding up at me, or I guess speeding up at my jugular cross court. I was more so kind of looking to get out of the way, but Christian ends up not speeding up, fools Eric and I side out. Now we're at 5-8 here. It just comes to show that like when you speed up at a pace that's not going in, it forces your opponent to kind of freeze a little bit. And when you can show that same look and turn it into a dink, it can cause some added stirrup, or it can cause some unforced errors. Okay, miss return. There's a little freebie for Ben and Christian. We're at 9-5 here. Okay, Ben comes at me there. Okay, that's one of the few times in this match that Ben sped up at my right shoulder, and I found a forehand. I was kind of looking to do. I was looking to do more of like a scorpion there, but I recognized that Ben wasn't coming to my left side. So take a look here. I was looking to scorpion, recognize that Ben's not coming to my left side, and then I kind of dart over to my right side, or to my dominant side, and end up finding a forehand counter, and was able to get it down. Okay, we needed that. So now we got some life here. We're at 5-9, looking to finish these guys in 2. This is a big crucial moment in the match that I'm kind of telling Eric, you know, now's the time to kind of find our best stuff. Now's the time to push. You know, they had missed a couple of thirds. Looks like maybe they don't want it. But also in the same sense, we get to 5-9 and we get the ball back, and then I end up missing a drop, which definitely doesn't help. 5-9-2 here. Okay, Ben comes at me. I decide to block. There we go, baby. Okay, I take a little backhand flick down the middle. So first ball here. Ben comes at me. I'm not up and established. And I stay middle. With me staying middle, ball gets popped up, and I'm able to kind of use a little backhand roll volley there. Okay, now we're at 6-9. So something I've done a little differently here is the last, let's say, the last little, you know, portion of game 2, I've won a couple hand battles against Ben. I've been able to speed up a couple times down the middle. And so I felt like I did a good job of just, being able to, beat Ben head to head, find some offense, and then more so take advantage of nobody being in the middle or covering center. See if we can keep at it here. We're at 6'9". Drop, come in. Okay, and this is when Ben starts taking a much bigger piece of the court. Okay. So 6'9" here. So also too, I usually start matches out by not walking through, or I guess moving through my third. But I was pretty comfortable, late in game 2. Usually after game 1, or maybe towards the end of game 1, when I really dial in with my third, I start, kind of walking, or I start trusting my third more, and so that allows me to gain some court position off of my third. But yeah, as you see here, it's 6'9", game 2. Most of the thirds that I'm hitting right now, I'm kind of moving through it. And why is because I've hit enough thirds in this match where I feel comfortable with my technique. If I'm comfortable with my technique and my consistency, that allows me to come up in a quicker fashion as I hit my third and walk through it. Okay, so good pressurized dinking here. Ben looks to speed. I block. Nice, good. Love it. Okay, now we're at 7'9" there. Boys getting hyped. Boys getting fired up. Also, too, looks like there's a little less dinking taking place in this portion of the match, and it more so kind of seems like first strike pickleball kind of pays off for like the team that's dictating more usually ends up on top. This, not gonna lie, this point right here got 1 million views. I think it's 1.5 million now on Instagram. Best point of the match. Somehow a lob gets over his head. Eric ends up hitting a tweener. I'm back blocking. Back to my best self here. Scrambling, blocking, looking to get one down. If you take a look at my side of the court, it is sweaty as could be. Paddle gets flown out of the hands. Boys are hyped. Come on. Okay, we're gonna watch that point again here. Best point of the match. Okay. So it starts with a drop. Ben's looking to be aggressive here. Ball gets hit off the tape. I'm in transition. I probably hit a handful of like 6 or 8 balls in transition here. Mixture of blocks out of the air, and then half volleys, hand battle, which turns into a lob. Lob gets hit over Eric's head. Eric hits the tweener. Back to defense here. Eric gets up and established. Never hit so many blocks in my life. Come on. If that doesn't get you fired up, I don't know what will. So we were down 5-9. Now we're at 8-9. I kid you not, that point right there got the juices flowing. Obviously, on that last point, all the pressure is on Ben and Christian now. I don't know if they take a timeout here. I don't think they do. Not gonna lie, if I was on the other side of the court and I was up 9-5 and all of a sudden now it's 8-9 and my opponents just had the point that Eric and I had, I would be calling a timeout right away. Okay, 8-9 here. Okay, block. Oh my gosh. So we are back to the same stuff here. Beautiful point. Play some good defense in transition. Mixture of block volleys and half volleys. Now we're up and established. And Christian just continued to fire missiles at me cross court. And it just happened time and time again where I just didn't get out of the way. Obviously, it's good offense from him. But in order for me to even know that those balls are going in, I've at least got to leave one. Drive drop combo. Christian still kind of struggling here to get his third down. Okay. 8-9 here. Got some life back. Nice and aggressive drop. Trying to get an advantage here, dinking cross court. As you see here too, Christian does a better job later in the match of not taking so many dinks out of the air, but he kind of sags back a little bit. Obviously, if you're not as comfortable dinking from the kitchen line, it would make sense from like a plan B standpoint. You kind of back up and buy yourself some time. Gosh. So there was a little confusion on the middle ball over there. They were still able to win the point. We should have won that point, but things did not turn out in our favor. So it looks like Ben and Christian are a little frozen there. Ball gets popped up, hits off the tape. Benny comes through me. All right, 9-all. Time to get over the hump here. Drive, drop. Oh no. All right, Eric got a little tight here in game 2. I'm sure all of us were it's only human to be tight. But Eric missed a couple of drops kind of late in game 2 and definitely late in game 3. Easier said than done. It looks like that was a poor decision by Christian. He was backing up, didn't have a slide off his back foot, tried to speed up. Ball hits the top of the tape. Okay, puts them at a game point here. So if you take a look at the lunge by Ben here, this is not an easy play. So I hit a pretty good fourth. So I hit a pretty good fourth. Ben slides over, takes it from Christian. He's fully committed, and then ends up kind of capping off the point with a couple swinging volleys. For Ben to make that poach and for where his court position started, if you take a look here. So he takes one big step over on the full stretch, gets directly in front of Christian, almost like they're playing I formation. That's what big boys do, and in like a situation like that, it's 9-all. His partner has been playing well. Ben's gonna step up and try to compensate and do as much as he can there. All right, so this is us fighting off a game point here. This is 9-10. Okay, got a little freebie there. Christian ends up missing a dink. 9-10 here. Let's see if we can do anything with it. But great job there from Ben at 9-all to kind of take over, to take matters into his own hands and get him a point. So now they're at 9-10. Christian tries to speed up from a low location, probably not the ball to speed up on. Eric gave him a little bait to work with, and Christian took the bait, took us to 10-all here. Here we go. So something to think about here. So this is Eric's first final, and not gonna lie, Eric in this moment, I don't think had a whole lot of belief, and so me kind of being the veteran, me having more experience and playing in a handful of finals, something I was telling Eric in this moment was, trust the offense, have some belief at the kitchen line, and just continue to swing free, play free, because when you get in these moments, it's very easy to kind of take your foot off the gas or to start playing not to lose, versus trusting the offense and trusting things that you do well. Drop, play some good defense here. Block. Oh no, that's the first block that I've missed. I think this whole match, my block out of the air was pretty dialed and pretty precise. Okay. Match point here, 11-10, came all the way here. Tournament started on Tuesday, now it's Sunday, made it all this way, now it's time to close. And let me tell you, that is not what happened here. Okay, this ball right here, I've told Eric this a handful of times. This was the very first match point. Eric ended up hitting an out ball here, that one. Easier said than done, but not gonna lie, I'm just gonna spoil it. In this match, we had 14 match points, and we finally got it done. And our very first match point was a time where Eric hit an out ball, and this match could have been a lot easier if Eric could have just left that out ball. Oh. Deflating, another match point, not go our way. Okay, so kind of an awkward play there. Eric drops, Christian pops it up. I end up closing. If I start in the middle, I should stay in the middle. It's kind of my fault. I mean, if I'm gonna start the mess, I should clean my mess. Also, too, Eric and I always kept the X rule. During this match, anytime a ball came cross court, he or whoever was cross court from the ball should be taking the dink in the middle or should be taking the ball. And so obviously with the ball being cross court from me there, I should be taking that. But I think a simple rule on the middle, as with most people know, is that if the ball is cross court from you, if it comes back in the middle or if it comes back cross court, just anytime he or she creates the angle, it's always your job to be clogging the middle or be taking balls in the middle. Pretty sick block by Ben there. ATP by Christian. Okay, game point for Ben and Christian here. Okay, not gonna lie, there's nothing more deflating in sports than to have 8 match points and have it not go your way. So now here we are kind of going into game 3. I'm completely lifeless at this moment. I think there's no way in heck we can ever get this done or win this match, especially with my past against Ben and the idea that I've had a handful of match points that I've lost, or I've had a handful of matches that I've lost when I had match points. And so so definitely going into game 3, didn't have a whole lot of belief that we could get it done. But Eric did a very good job of kind of pumping me up with some confidence and telling me that there is still a way to get it done.